Good evening. Tonight, we are going to spend one whole day inside a palace in old Korea. Not as a king, and not as a soldier. Tonight, you are a young attendant boy whose only duty is to carry a small lantern through the quiet halls. Nothing frightening happens in this story. It is only a long, calm day from one dawn to one midnight. So make yourself comfortable, let your shoulders sink into the bed, and walk with me. If you fall asleep somewhere between the morning bell and the evening lanterns, that is perfectly fine. The palace will keep its watch without you. It is the year 1400 and something in the great palace of Gyeongbok in the capital city of Joseon. The night is still deep. Mist lies over the tiled roofs, hundreds and hundreds of them, curved like resting waves. Somewhere far away, a water clock drips, measuring the hours drop by drop. You are already awake, because the youngest attendants wake first, before the birds, before the cooks, before the sun. You light your small lantern and step into the corridor. The wooden floor is cold under your feet. You pass the long halls one by one, and the paper windows glow faintly blue with the coming dawn. It is said that the king of Joseon rises before the sun, and tonight you will see that it is true. At the fourth watch of the night, when the sky is still dark, the king's chamber stirs. The king does not wake to a loud call. An elder attendant kneels outside his door and says in a low voice that the hour has come. That is all. Inside, the king rises from his silk bedding. He is not allowed to be lazy, not even for one morning. Of all the people in the palace, the king sleeps the least. Before he eats, before he governs, the king dresses in his plain morning robe and walks through the dark courtyards to the quarters of his mother, the queen dowager. There he kneels on the wooden floor and bows, and asks whether she slept in peace. This is called the morning greeting, and no king may skip it. Even the ruler of the whole country begins his day as a son. You wait outside with your lantern, and through the paper door you hear their quiet voices asking after each other's health, like any family, anywhere, in any age. When the sky turns pale, the king takes his first meal. You help carry the small tables. The royal breakfast is not a feast. It is a simple porridge, white and warm, with a few quiet side dishes. The great meals come later in the day. The palace believes that a heavy stomach makes a slow mind, and the king's mind belongs to the people. And then, while the morning is still young, the king goes to his books. This may surprise you. The most powerful man in the country spends his early morning as a student. In a bright hall, the wise scholars of Joseon are waiting for him. They open the old texts together, and the scholars question the king, and the king must answer like a boy at his lessons. This gathering was held in the morning, and often again at midday, and again in the evening. 3 lessons a day for a king. It is said that some kings loved this hour, and some kings dreaded it, but very few dared to cancel it. In Joseon, they believed the country could only be as wise as the man who ruled it, and so the king studied, season after season, year after year. The sun climbs higher. Now the day turns to the business of the country. In the great throne hall, officials in dark robes line the courtyard, standing in careful rows on the old stones. Reports come up from every province. Rain has been good in the south. A bridge has washed away in the east. A granary must be opened, a magistrate must be replaced, a dispute must be judged. Paper after paper is read aloud, and the king listens and asks and decides. You stand at the edge with your lantern long since dark, and you notice something. The hall is never loud. Even disagreement moves slowly here, in long, careful sentences. The stones of the courtyard have heard 100 years of such sentences, and they will hear 100 more. At midday, the king eats his main meal, the royal table called sura. Now the small tables are many. Rice, soup, and quiet rows of dishes, each one tasted first by a careful attendant, each one arranged in its proper place. The king does not choose his menu. The kitchen decides what the season offers, and the king receives what he is given. Even in this, he is not entirely free. You begin to understand something you had not understood before. The palace is a cage as much as it is a crown, and the bars are made of duty. In the afternoon, there are audiences. A governor, leaving for a distant province, comes to bow and receive his orders. An old minister, retiring after 40 years, comes to say farewell, and the king comes down a step to meet him, which is a great honor, and the old man's beard trembles as he bows. Perhaps a foreign envoy is received with gifts and long formal greetings. Perhaps the king reviews the training of the palace guards, or walks briefly in the garden to clear his head, along the lotus pond, where the afternoon light lies flat and golden on the water. You follow him at a distance, along the covered walkways. The palace is a world of its own. There are kitchens and storehouses, offices and archives, stables and shrines. Thousands of people live and work inside these walls, and every one of them, from the highest minister to the boy with the lantern, has a place, and a task, and a path they walk each day. It is not a simple life, but there is a strange peace in a world where everything has its place. As the sun leans west, the king returns once more to his books. The evening lesson. The same scholars, the same old texts, the candles lit now against the fading light. His day began as a student, and it ends as one too. Then comes the evening meal, lighter than midday, and after it, one more duty, the last and perhaps the gentlest. As the lanterns are lit across the courtyards, the king walks again to his mother's quarters, kneels again on the wooden floor, and asks whether her evening is peaceful. The day is closed the way it was opened, with a bow, and now the palace begins to fold itself into the night. The gates are barred, one by one, from the outermost wall to the inner courts. In the city beyond, the great bell rings out through the dusk, 28 slow strikes, and at that sound, the capital's own gates swing shut. The night watch takes up their rounds. You see their lanterns moving along the walls, small and slow, like fireflies keeping an appointment. The king's chamber grows quiet. His attendants withdraw to the outer room, where they will sleep lightly, in turns, all night, within reach of his voice. The candle behind a paper door burns a while longer. Perhaps he is reading. Perhaps he is writing in his diary, for the kings of Joseon kept records of everything, and their words are still read today, 600 years later. Perhaps he is only sitting quietly, listening to the palace breathe. Then the light goes out, and here's the thought you carry with you, as you walk back down the long corridor with your small lantern. The king of Joseon owned everything you can see, every roof, every stone, every field beyond the walls. And yet his day was made almost entirely of duties. He woke before everyone, studied like a schoolboy, ate what he was given, bowed to his mother twice a day, and went to sleep guarded like a treasure. The freest man in the country, and the least free. Perhaps, in his last thought before sleep, he envied the boy with the lantern, who could walk out into the night air and look up at the moon over the tiled roofs and think of nothing at all. The water clock drips on. The watchmen walk their slow rounds. Hundreds of dark roofs rest under the moon, and under those roofs, thousands of sleepers, and among them, one king. The palace is asleep now. The whole country is asleep. And you may sleep too. Good night.